Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Shnabad Paramansapati Prajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, and we're beginning with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 23, Text 33.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Guru Maharaj, would you like to begin with 33?
Okay. Vikritva idamakarnya naro naryatavadrita apraja suprajatamo nirdhano dhanavatamaha. It does not matter whether one is a man or woman. Anyone who with great respect hears this narration of Maharaj Prithu will become the father of many children if he is without children, and will become the richest of men if he is without money. Purport: materialistic persons who are very fond of money and great families worship different demigods to attain their desires. especially Goddess Durga, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Such materialistic persons are called Sri Aishwarya Prajapsavaha. Sri means beauty, Aishwarya means riches, Praja means children, and Ipsavaha means desiring. As described in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to worship various demigods for different types of benedictions. However, here it is indicated that simply by hearing of the life and character of Maharaj Prithu, one can have both riches and children in enormous quantities. One simply has to read and understand the history, the life, and activities of Prithu Maharaj. It is advised that one read them at least 3 times. Those who are materially afflicted will so benefit by hearing of the Supreme Lord and his devotees that they need not go to any demigod. The word Suprajata Maha, surrounded by many children, is very significant in this verse, for one may have many children, but may not have any qualified children. Here, however, it is stated, Suprajata Maha, that all the children thus attained would be qualified in education, wealth, beauty, and strength, everything complete. Om Jnana Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shagana Raghunatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vanchako Pitarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. The section that we're reading now offers the Shruti Pad of this section. Actually, could we fill this up? That's great. You came with the right thing at the right time. Thank you so much. The Shruti Pad means the fruit, the benefit of hearing, that is, hearing the narration at hand. And in many sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I assume other Puranas also, one is, the section ends with this, a similar Shruti Pal. You'll get this benefit, you'll get that benefit. Of course, the benefits being described here are mainly material benefits. If you're penniless, you'll become rich. If you're childless, you'll have many children, good children, and so on. And generally, that's described in the second canto. To get such benefits, one worships various demigods for the fulfillment of this or that desire. But here here we find that just by hearing this narration of Prithu Maharaj, one gets all such benefits automatically. One doesn't have to separately worship this or that demigod. Just by hearing of the activities of Maharaj Prithu, one exceeds what one might expect, what one could expect from worshiping this demigod or performing this or that pious activity. Okay. Apashtakirti suyasha murko bhavati panditaha idam svasjayanam pungsam amangalya nivaranam. Also, one who hears this narration 3 times will become very reputable if he's not recognized in society, and he'll become a great scholar if he's illiterate. In other words, hearing of the narrations of Prithu Maharaj is so auspicious that it drives away all bad luck. Amangalya nivaranam. Swastyayanam. Swastyayanam means giving good fortune. And amangalya means inauspiciousness. Mangal means good fortune, and amangal, bad fortune, inauspiciousness. Nivarana, finished off by this hearing. Apashtakirti, if he has no reputation, Suryasha, he'll have a very good reputation. If he's murka, illiterate fool, he becomes a pundit. In the material world, everyone wants some profit, some adoration, and some reputation. By associating in different ways with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, one can very easily become opulent in every respect. Even if one is not known or recognized by society, he becomes very famous and important if he takes to devotional service and preaching. As far as education is concerned, one can become recognized in society as a great learned scholar simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, wherein the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees are described. This material world is full of dangers at every step, but a devotee has no fear because devotional service is so auspicious that it automatically counteracts all kinds of bad luck. Since hearing about Prithu Maharaj is one of the items of devotional service, Shravanam, naturally hearing about him brings all good fortune. So this is devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So Shravanam means one is performing devotional service, and the results of devotional service exceed what one might hope for on the material platform. And material opulences can come automatically. Dhanyam yashasyam ayushyam svargyam kalimalapaham dharmartha kama mokshanam samyak siddhim abhipsubhi satayaitat anushravyam chaturinam karanam param. By hearing the narration of Prithu Maharaj, one can become great, increase his duration of life, gain promotion to the heavenly planets, and counteract the contaminations of this age of Kali. In addition, one can promote the causes of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Therefore, from all sides, it is advisable for a materialistic person who is interested in such things to read and hear the narrations of the life and character of Prithu Maharaj. Purport. By reading and hearing the narrations of the life and character of Prithu Maharaj, one naturally becomes a devotee. And as soon as one becomes a devotee, his material desires automatically become fulfilled. Therefore, it is recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham padam. If a person wants to return home back to Godhead, or wants to become a pure devotee, akama, or wants some material prosperity, sakama or sarvakama, or wants to merge into the existence of the supreme Brahman effulgence, moksha kama, he is recommended to take to the path of devotional service and hear and chant of Lord Vishnu or of his devotee. This is the sum and substance of all Vedic literatures. Vedaischa sarvairaham eva vedya. The purpose of Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna and his devotees. Whenever we speak of Krishna, we refer to his devotees also, for he is not alone. He is never nirvishesh or shunya, without variety or zero. Krishna is full of variety, and as soon as Krishna is present, there cannot be any question of void. And hearing of Krishna or hearing of his devotees. Here we're hearing about Prithu Maharaj, who's a devotee. That's as good as hearing about Krishna himself, because Krishna means Krishna with his devotees, with his paraphernalia, with his everything. There's a question there.
Yes. Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, I know devotees who have read this 3 times, hoping to get a child, but they didn't. Can you explain why?
Well, there are 2 explanations I can think of. One is in the Nectar of Devotion, where there are a lot of these statements like this. If you do this, you'll get that. If you just do this, you'll get that. And Srila Prabhupada explains that one may sometimes get these results, that it's not always automatic, but that such results are certainly possible. Another explanation has been given by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu, that sometimes when we hear of these things, they're in progress. The process has already begun, but we have to wait for the result. If you say, for example, like suppose now I'm here in Stuyvesant Falls, tomorrow at 1 o'clock it's 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock I have a train back to Brooklyn. So if somebody comes here to Stuyvesant Falls at 4 o'clock and says, where's Jayādvaita Swami? Then they may say, oh, he's gone back to Brooklyn. But actually at 4 o'clock, I'll be on the train. I won't be in Brooklyn. I won't reach till 5:30 or so. So how is it that I've gone back to Brooklyn? Yes, I've gone to Brooklyn. That means the process has begun. Now that I'm on the road, it's fair to say that I've gone back to Brooklyn, even if I haven't reached yet. So these benedictions, that the illiterate person becomes a pundit, that the poor person becomes wealthy, that the childless person has a child, don't have timestamps attached to them. There's no guarantee that tomorrow or the next day or within any given time frame one will get the result, but the results are available. It's just a question of time, and one may in fact get even better results than those one hoped for. Hope that's all right.
Saraswati Master, you have a hand.
Pranams Param Pujya Gurudev and all the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, somebody could argue that these benedictions or these things that are given as a result of hearing about Prithu Maharaj, well, those results could be obtained from approaching a demigod, but are we to understand that manifest or unmanifest, these Mahabhagavatas, whenever we associate with them, whether we're hearing or talking about them or remembering them, the results that we gain may appear like some material asset has been given to us because we aspired for that, being a Sakam devotee, but the fact that we have somehow or another associated with them has a tinge of putting us on a transcendental platform or helping us to rise to the platform of transcendental loving service to Krishna. Are we to understand that that's the difference?
Yeah, the real benefit is actually that you get to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord and make spiritual progress. But for those whose desire for that is not so strong, some come-ons are given. That you'll get children, you'll get money, you'll get respect, you'll get this, you'll get that. Come on, just listen. The purpose is to get him to listen to Bhagavad Gita. Just like suppose I'm looking for an assistant, and I say, I'm going to Rome and to Athens and to Budapest and to these other going to Fiji. So would you like to come? And he's thinking, wow, you always wanted to go to Fiji, always wanted to go to Rome, never been to Greece. So he's thinking of the benefits of all this travel. But the result is that I get an assistant. That was my real purpose. It's not that he needs to see Greece, he needs to see Rome. That's superficial and unimportant. But when he sees the opportunity of visiting these exotic places, then he may be inclined to sign on to do some service. So, crude example, I suppose. But the idea is there that why even mention these things? They're not important. They're just temporary, ephemeral benefits of the kind that are deprecated elsewhere. But because we know that you're attached to these things, just do this and you'll get all of those benefits. But our real purpose is that you should become Krishna conscious. Lord Vishnu is not really interested. The personality of Godhead is not really interested in extending material benefits, but as an inducement for devotional service, these things are offered. Hare Krishna.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, thank you, Maharaj. And for our next text, Saraswati Master, can you take the next text as well as the chat? Also note that Panchatattva Prabhu is just listening.
Oh, all right, yes, but I still have another question, follow-up for Guru Maharaj. There was something that was brought up in our local Bhagavatam class. I'm not sure that the inquiry was answered to everyone's satisfaction, but there was a talk about that pastime of Sanatan Goswami with that Chintamani, and how this person was told by Lord Shiva, I believe, that if you want the greatest thing, then approach Sanatan Goswami. And of course, this Chintamani that could make unlimited amounts of gold was just stashed somewhere, almost like as if it was not important. So then the question was raised that, yes, that devotee understood that. Why is it put here? I don't want to say in the pile of rubbish, but something that's unwanted. It was just placed there. So there must be something greater than that. But the question that was asked was that if Rupa Goswami has said that real vairagya means to utilize everything for Krishna's service, so if something like gold or wealth can be utilized for Krishna's service, why was this Chintamani just thrown away when it could have been used for the service of Krishna, if that's the true vairagya?
They didn't need a Chintamani. Rupa Sanatan were already fabulously wealthy. Rupa Goswami retired with a boatload of coins, gold coins. Chakvaturna Mashesha Mandala Shanim Sadatuchavat. They already had such opulences, such influence, but they gave it up as insignificant. So this was more important, to live a life of vairagya, to teach the example of detachment and focus on pure devotional service and direct hearing, chanting, and carrying out the mission of the Lord. They didn't need the Chintamani, they already had plenty. Raghunath Das Goswami, his father and uncle were sending him money, finally sent it back. Don't bother sending more. Because that was their service, to set an example of tapasya, vairagya. Someone else's service may be different, but this was their service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. We have a comment or a question from Murari Prabhuji. There are Christian groups which promise wealth. I think they are called prosperity gospel churches. This sounds a bit like them.
Yes, the same principle is there. People are coming to the church with the idea that, like Pastor James, they too will have, jewelry and big watches and smart suits and, all of that, all those signs of prosperity. Yes. So, all right, as a come on, but if one doesn't go further to take to genuine devotional service of the Lord, then that's not so good. And we can question also whether it's the business of spiritual leaders to cut a prosperity profile. Brahman is meant to live humbly in humble circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. We're on text 36. Would you like to proceed, Guru Maharaj, or would you like me to continue?
Let's see. I guess I'll read.
Thank you so much.
Vijaya Bhimukho Raja Shrutvaitad Abhiyati Yan Balim Tasmai Haranchya Gre Rajana Pratave Yata. If a king who is desirous of attaining victory and ruling power chants the narration of Pritumaj 3 times before going forth on his chariot, all subordinate kings will automatically render all kinds of taxes unto him, as they rendered them unto Maharaj Prithu, simply upon his order. Purport: since a Kshatriya king naturally desires to rule the world, he wishes to make all other kings subordinate to him. This was also the position many years ago when Prithu Maharaj was ruling over the earth. At that time, he was the only emperor on this planet. Even 5,000 years ago, Maharaj Yudhishthir and Maharaj Parikshit were the sole emperors of this planet. Sometimes the subordinate kings rebelled, and it was necessary for the emperor to go and chastise them. This process of chanting the narrations of the life and character of Prithu Maharaj is recommended for conquering kings if they want to fulfill their desire to rule the world. Anything here? Okay.
Nothing in the chat box.
Okay. Something here. Muktanya Sango Bhagavat Malam Bhaktim Udvahan Banyasya Charitam Punyam Shrunuyach Travayet Patet. A pure devotee who's executing the different processes of devotional service may be situated in the transcendental position, being completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But even he, while discharging devotional service, must hear, read, and induce others to hear about the character and life of Prithu Maharaj. Purport: there's a type of neophyte devotee who's very anxious to hear about the pastimes of the Lord, especially the Ras Leela chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a devotee should know by this instruction that the pastimes of Prithu Maharaj are non-different from the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. An ideal king, Prithu Maharaj exhibited all talents in showing how to rule the citizens, how to educate them, how to develop the state economically, how to fight enemies, how to perform great sacrifices, yagyas, etc. Thus, it is recommended for the sahajiya, or the neophyte devotee, to hear, chant, and get others to hear about the activities of Prithu Maharaj, even though one may think himself to be in the transcendental position of advanced devotional service. Just have to take one item. Keep the doctors happy. So the two things are there. Shrunuyach Travayet Patet. One should hear and induce others to hear. Shrunuyat means hearing, and Shravayet from inducing others to hear. And Patet, go on reading, go on chanting, and go on engaging others in this process of devotional service. it's relevant and instructive to hear Prabhupada talking about the neophyte devotees who think that advanced devotional service is to get all absorbed in confidential Gopi Katha, Radha Krishna Katha. This is the goal, this is the ultimate, and so we should just plunge into those things, leaving aside these lesser topics, these topics at a lower level. After all, we don't want to go to Vaikuntha. We're not ultimately interested in kingdoms. We want to be with Radha and Krishna in their loving pastimes and so on. So they think this is advanced devotional service, to put aside the lesser stuff and dive into the Hare Krishna, topmost nectar. But here we're advised, no, we should patiently hear about all of Krishna's activities, and not only Krishna's activities, but the activities of pure devotees like Prithu Maharaj. We're reminded that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself very much relished hearing about Dhruva Katha and Prahlad Katha, and here is the Prithu Katha. So we shouldn't set aside these things or reject these things with the hope of becoming elevated to the topmost platform. We should hear and induce others to hear about the activities of Prithu Maharaj. Vaichitra virya vihitam mahan mahatmya shuchakam asmin kritam ati martyam partavim gatimapnuyat. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, I have, as far as possible, spoken the narrations about Prithu Maharaj, which enrich one's devotional attitude. Whoever takes advantage of these benefits also goes back home, back to Godhead, like Maharaj Prithu. Purport. The word Shravayet, mentioned in a previous verse, indicates that one should not only read for himself, but also induce others to read and hear. That is called preaching. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended this practice, Yaridaku Tarikahu Krishnupadesh. Whomever you meet, simply talk with him about the instructions given by Krishna, or tell him of narrations about Krishna. Prithu Maharaj's history of devotional service is as potent as narrations about the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not make distinctions between the pastimes of the Lord and the activities of Prithu Maharaj. And whenever it is possible, a devotee should attempt to induce others to hear about Prithu Maharaj. One should not only read of his pastimes for one's own benefit, but should induce others to read and hear about them also. In this way, everyone can be benefited. Okay. Any questions here?
Nothing in the chat box.
Okay.
Oh, actually, something has come up, Guru Maharaj, from Murari Prabhuji. Maharaj, I meet many skeptics online, and they delight in tearing apart Christianity by attacking what's written in the Bible. This guarantees that don't deliver in this lifetime are the sort of things they will love to focus on, though at present they are unaware of Srimad Bhagavatam. Should we just see that as the price of preaching in Kali Yuga?
Yeah, this inevitably when we try to induce others to hear, someone will say, "Why should I hear it? It's all rubbish." That's their misfortune. But our duty is to spread these understandings of Krishna consciousness, and of course, they're thinking that if I just work, then I'll get whatever it is. But they work hard, and then in their senior years, so-called senior years, they're not able to enjoy. Rather, there's so many difficulties, and they have no spiritual truth to look toward. So they become more unfortunate. Yes.
So Guru Maharaj, those that are reading the Bible, they shouldn't be bashed for reading the Bible. That still contains some transcendental truth, would it not?
Oh yeah, but these people who are bashing, it's not that they're bashing it because it gives lesser spiritual understanding. They're just bashing it on what's the word? Empiric, I guess, grounds. It's not the word I wanted to use, but anyway, on empiric grounds, they say, see, it promises this, but it's not delivering, so it's not true. And then they're very happy with that, but they have nothing better to offer. They have nothing better to offer. But this is typically their mode. So skeptics, to be a skeptic, one doesn't have to be an atheist, a scoffer. One may simply not be convinced, and it may take some time. But those who relish, there are those who relish bashing anything spiritual, and they think that this makes them very great. But their materialistic ideas are also deserve to be bashed. And then where are they? They're lost. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, we have time to finish this last text 39 of this chapter.
Anudinam idam adarena shrinvan patu charitam patayan bimukta sangaha bhagavati bhavasindu potapade sacha nipunam labate ritim manusha. Whoever with great reverence and adoration regularly reads, chants, and describes the history of Maharaj Prithu's activities will certainly increase unflinching faith and attraction for the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord's lotus feet are the boat by which one can cross the ocean of nescience. Purport. The word Bhavasindhu Pota Pade is significant in this verse. The lotus feet of the Lord are known as Mahatpadam. This means that the total source of material existence rests on the lotus feet of the Lord. Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murai. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhupada. Everything is emanating from him. This cosmic manifestation, which is compared to an ocean of nescience, is also resting on the lotus feet of the Lord. As such, this great ocean of nescience is minimized by a person who is a pure devotee of the Lord. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord need not cross over the ocean, for he has already crossed it by virtue of his position at the Lord's lotus feet. By hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord or the Lord's devotees, one can become firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. This position can also be achieved very easily by narrating the history of the life of Prithu Maharaj regularly, every day. So this is a wonderful point, really, that the devotee doesn't have to do something separate to cross the ocean of material existence. The material existence lies beneath the lotus feet of the Lord. So if one is engaged in the service of the Lord, one is present with the Lord, or the Lord is present with us, and therefore one has already transcended material existence. Sagunam Samiti Chaitan. That's very, very nice point. Word Vimukta Sangha is also significant in this connection because we associate with the three qualities of material nature. Our position in this material world is full of dangers. Padam padam yad vipadam. But when we engage in the devotional service of the Lord by the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, we immediately become Vimukta Sangha, or liberated. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the fourth canto, 23rd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Maharaj Prithu's Going Back to God, Going Back Home. All right. Are there any more questions here?
Nothing in the chat box. I'm just looking forward to the next chapter, the text 1 of chapter 24. Should we proceed? It's not very long.
Yes, why not? Where we could tarry here and look back at the pastimes described, how the son of Vena is brought about to appear from the dead body of Vena, how he rules as an ideal leader, how he performs sacrifices, and how Indra becomes envious, but Maharaj Prithu's sons don't stop him. We read of Maharaj Prithu going to the forest finally and renouncing all material opulences. And finally, we read about his going back home, back to God. Now we begin the next chapter, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Maitreya Vacha, Vijitasvo Dhiraja Asit, Prithu Putra Prithu Shravaha, Yavi Yobhyo Tadat Kashta, Ratribhyo Ratravatsalaha. The great sage Maitreya continued. Vijitasva, the eldest son of Maharaj Prithu, who had a reputation like his father's, became emperor and gave his younger brothers different directions of the world to govern, where he was very affectionate toward his brothers. Purport. After describing the life and character of Maharaj Prithu in the previous chapter, the great sage Maitreya began to speak about the sons and grandsons in the genealogical line of the Prithu dynasty. After the death of Maharaj Prithu, his eldest son, Vijatasva, became emperor of the world. King Vijatasva was very affectionate toward his younger brothers, and therefore he wanted them to rule different directions of the world. From time immemorial, the eldest son generally becomes king after the death of the previous king. When the Pandavas ruled the earth, Maharaj Yudhisthira, the eldest son of King Pandu, became emperor, and his younger brothers assisted him. Similarly, King Vijatasva's younger brothers were appointed to govern the different directions of the world. We find this, Prabhupada first of all points out that this system of primogeniture, by which the eldest son inherits the kingdom, goes back a long way. Yes. And we see also that this, we've seen even in contemporary times, this system by which one son becomes the king, and then the other sons become the ministers or take up other high posts in the government. I know in Dubai, this is very much the case. There's one ruler for the United Arab Emirates, but there are others who are eligible by being brothers of the king, by being members of the royal family. They're posted. They become the education minister, or they become, in some other way, a responsible government leader, a finance minister, what have you. So the eldest brother becomes the king, and the other brothers assist. Yes. Anything else about this?
Yes, there's a question from Murari Prabhuji. Is it mentioned that Maharaj Prithu had a guru and who he was? I typed the four Kumaras. I hope that's correct.
Well, it's certainly true that they came to instruct him, and he accepted their instructions. I doubt that they got clearance from the GBC Guru Services Committee. It might have been a hard sell in any case because they didn't wear clothes. That's certainly wouldn't look good in the public eye. But Prithu Maharaj, it seems, didn't have to worry about the GBC's approval or non-approval. He simply took advantage of their presence and accepted their instructions. Hare Krishna.
Let me just check. Yes, from Praveen Prabhuji, he writes, this is also how joint families work. The eldest son is in charge. He also takes care of all the younger brothers.
Yes, quite right. Good point. Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, the eldest child taking over the throne, well, they might not always be the most qualified. And of course, we know that monarchy did become so degraded because even in the Mughal dynasties, the younger brothers killed the older ones so that they could usurp the throne. So, and even like with the present monarchy in England, we know that I think Edward VIII, he had to abdicate his throne because he was associating with who they considered a common woman. And then Queen Elizabeth's father, King George VI, I think, he assumed the throne. But now the royals are marrying into like commoners, and they don't necessarily have to abdicate the throne. So things have become quite deteriorated, I suppose.
Hare Krishna.
And we have 5 minutes. Can we proceed to the closing kirtan?
First,
I'm wondering if, Panchatattva Prabhuji is gone. I'm not sure who led the opening kirtan, but did Naveen Prabhuji?
Ananda led the opening kirtan.
So maybe I could ask Naveen Prabhuji if he's available.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Vishnupad Purnamam Supari Prajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas for joining our very lively class. Special thank you to all those Vaishnavas that led our opening and beautiful closing kirtans. We continue with our Chaitanya Charitamrita class tomorrow. His Holiness Jayādvaita Maharaj Shri Ki Jai.
To the Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.